Those red tracking lasers must be giving my position to the drones. If I don't take them offline, I'll never get to Dr. Watts' lab.
Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. And, yeah, this is basically another sort of filler mission, why we couldn't immediately hop, skip, and a jump to Dr. Watts' lab and get the information we needed. Right then and there, it was a bit of a mystery to me, but basically we've got robots aplenty. Robot drones, Robot Jones, Robot guns, Robot buns if you're into your sex robots, and, yeah, nothing really too exciting going on apart from just reusing the laser defense systems that were in Doc Ock and Carnage's lab from the previous game, so... yeah, not really too much else to say at this point. We are actually in the final stretch of the game at this point, which, that's a bit surprising to be honest. I don't remember Enter Electro being that short, but I think part of the reason why it might feel that way is because, well, a lot of the plot events have kind of been saved like for the beginning and the end of the plot. Like, I mean, again, we had an exciting opening. Again, we have the, oh no, we're gonna chase the mystery box, find out what's going on. Then we find out about, you know, the whole amplification device and, you know, what Electro needs to power the device, as we'll learn later in this part. And then by the end, it's pretty much just, okay, now we gotta stop Electro, exciting set pieces, explosions, cool, whatever, and end the game. So it kind of makes the middle of the game kind of feel weird. I mean, again, I wouldn't say the middle of the game is padding, but it's quite the opposite, in fact. Like, I mean, again, the game itself is paced reasonably well. You're borrowing a few levels here and there that are just sort of like, oh no, wait, we have to do a thing before we get to another place. So, I don't know what you call it. Like, I mean, again, it paces its gameplay rather nicely. Its narrative pacing, though, is just a little bit, sort of like, I don't know, it's gradual, but then it sort of jumps to hyperspeed towards the end with all the exciting set pieces. You're front-loading them both at the beginning and the end of the game, and it's just, kind of odd, really. But yeah, all of that aside, again, if you knew how to take out these lasers beforehand in the previous Neversoft game, then you can take them out no problem here, as well as destroying the searchlights, doing whatever. Bada bing, you do the thing. And thus it makes you feel like Spider-Man. And I suppose while we have a big chunk of level, I suppose my secondary reason for part of the... well, again, I sort of talked about it before with the whole, like, how feeling like Spider-Man basically comprises web-swinging, stopping crimes, and beating people up. And I mean, what exactly separates something like, say, Spider-Man 2, the movie game, or the Insomniac PS4 game, from something like this? I was actually going to bring this up during the original, like, Spider-Man swinging around the city beating thugs up at the beginning of the game. But, here it kind of lays it out for me, because, like, I mean, in, like, the PS4 game specifically is my one major frame of reference here. Like, I mean, you do have crimes to stop, obviously, like, you know, people shoplifting, or, you know, random thugs on the street, or, you know, people jacking cars or whatever, but the thing of it is, that's the only sort of missions you really tend to do. There's no variation or differences between the gangs, like, apart from, oh no, Kingpin's thugs are doing it. Oh, later in the game, it's the Demon Lords, and, oh wait, what's this? Now it's Silver Sable's mercenaries being a shit. With very little variation between the two. I think the sole exception of which being Silver Sable's mercenary compounds, but even then, they're synonymous with, you know, the Kingpin's hideouts or the Demon's warehouses, so... I don't know. Like, I mean, to me, whenever they tend to use that sort of framework to describe the typical side mission swinging around New York as feeling like Spider-Man, just comes across as a bit pointless, especially given how, despite how brief it was in Enter Electro, that section at the beginning of the game, I don't know, it still captured the whole feel like Spider-Man thing in a more concise way than most Spider-Man games do throughout their entire runtime. At least for the open world ones, but that's neither here nor there in this case. Oh my god, we're still here! I mean, really though, what exactly is stopping us from web-swinging into the doctor's lab, getting the information and skedaddling? I mean, because Spider-Man can clearly outrun the lasers quite easily here, so... really, what the hell? I mean, it certainly would have been nice if these devices came in handy with fucking Electro earlier on, you know, using the lasers to shoot him down. I'm pretty sure he's not impervious to fucking bullets. Or maybe he is, I'm not too sure. I guess maybe it varies from continuity to continuity, but, I don't think he's pure energy, so... or at least not at this stage, so... couldn't bullets still harm him, or at least slow him down? Could an EMP knock him out? Curious, really. I mean, there are rolling blackouts throughout the city, so I mean, it's not as if anything would really be lost at that point, so... Yeah, whatever.
Now what happened in here? Well, let's hope the computers came through undamaged. Bingo! I'm in! Huh. Blah, 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 yada, yada. Huh. Sapphires, huh? Oh, now I see. Where's anyone gonna get a jewel that size? Huh.
Wasn't that a plot point in Batman and Robin that Mr. Freeze needed jewels in order to power his suit? Tut vicarious visions. Taking inspiration from the bad comedy movie, but anyway, we've got more important things to worry about now with the Sandman. And this time in a slightly cool yet slightly tedious boss fight. In order to damage the Sandman, and is typical of, well, not really damage him and kill him permanently, but basically more just slow him down, stop him, and basically make him less of a shit. We gotta build up the water pressure, then we gotta get him into position, spray him with water, and then he's vulnerable enough for us to beat the crap out of and wash, rinse, repeat, really. Quite literally in this case, since we, using water.
Better get the pressure back up.
But yeah, do this whole, get the water pressure up, spray Sandman, do a thing, yada yada yada. That's pretty much the entire boss fight. It's probably one of the more longer gimmick battles of the game. Not terrible, but it can take a while, so get comfy, kids. Sandman does have a larger gamut of attacks than what he had previously, and he still smash you with sand hammers. He'll still, you know, try and chase after you and lock on teleport on you, but, you know, he does have a few lunging attacks, so it does change it up enough compared to when you were chasing the beetle on the train, but it's also just not quite enough. Although it does strike me as a bit odd, because, like, I mean, again, we had Sandman earlier distracting us beforehand. Was there meant to be a beetle boss fight in the game? Because, I mean, again, like, this boss fight enough shows Sandman's abilities to their fullest extent, but do they not have any boss fight planned for the beetle? Or do they think his attacks were too similar to other characters? Or do they just say, yeah, he's not popular enough, fuck it, just leave him out? Because, I mean, it was a conscious decision on Vicarious Vision's part to include some of the lesser-known villains for the Spider-Man game. You know, in lieu of rather including some of the heavy hitters that were already used in the previous game. Or, you know, other major villains like Kraven the Hunter or Green Goblin or a couple of others or whatever. I guess the Hobgoblin probably would have counted as well since he was part of the animated series, but yeah, whatever. I don't know, it's quite odd, but then again, as I brought up before, and I don't know if they have a similar sort of comic book embargo that, oh no, we can't have the Green Goblin appearing in Enter Electro because he's appearing in the Spider-Man movie. Kids will be confused. Some fucking bullshit like that, I really don't fucking know. But that being said, though, it is why I say that I would have been interested to have seen a third game in the Neversoft continuity. Unless, of course, it was meant to be connected to, like, the animated series or Spider-Man Unlimited. I'm not really thinking that that's the case, but it's weird. I just think it would have been cool to have at least had a third game, and to be honest, given the fact that Activision had the license and the 2002 movie game does bear some visual resemblance here and there to, you know, the Neversoft stuff, it does make me wonder if maybe a potential Spider-Man 3 in this universe was cancelled because of the fucking movies. If so, I am slightly peeved about that, because despite the fact that, again, Spider-Man 1 movie tie-in game led to Spider-Man 2 movie tie-in game, which was the definitive make you feel like Spider-Man game, despite also being a popular movie in its own right, that's saddening, because you killed one great continuity that had its own unique spin on the franchise, and pissed it away for fucking feeling like Blue Beetle. Yeah. I feel like that too, Sandman.
Nighty-night, Sandman! Looks like security's made it to the lab. Think I got what I needed anyway. Huh? You gotta be kidding me! Oh, great. Just great. Well, I could hope that Electro can't read, but I guess you could have someone do that for him. Hope I'm not too late getting to that museum. What do I do about the doctor, though? Electro probably still needs the doctor to show him how the device works, so she should be safe for now. Let's hope Electro's as dim as he looks.
Gotta tell the boss. Gotta tell the boss.
Fist-sized gem. Why would you create a device that relies on something that not only doesn't exist, but cannot be made by man? There must be something you are not telling me, good doctor, and I want to know what it is.
Boss, look!
Tonight, we hit the museum tonight, and this time, that meddlesome bug won't be able to stop me.
Our villain, ladies and gentlemen, a guy who's just a whiny little puss and... I don't know, he'd probably even be scared by the spinning newspapers. Electro fucking sucks, man.
Where are you, Electro?
Not so fast, bug! Or tonight, you're not gonna be the only one who gets squashed.
This is a new low even for you, Electro. I'm the one you want.
Fool! This was never about you! This was about power!
Help me, Spider-Man!
Huh? Oh. How you doing? Hey, how you doing?
Okay, I mean, the idea of Electro animating these, I guess what are meant to be statues, but are actually samurai robots is comic books as fuck, but I don't know, I quite like it, and it's charming in its own way. Although, that being said though, taking on a lot of the samurai robots are actually a bit of a pain in the ass. It's made a bit easier if you do have the lightning webbing that's used specifically for stopping robots, but well, yeah, they're still pretty powerful, so your best bet is usually just to throw heavy objects at them and take down their health that way, because I mean, yeah, the lightning swords are not to be trifled with. And they do hit quite hard, so yeah, be very careful. One of the more challenging levels of the game, but to be honest, since we're, again, heading towards endgame territory, I believe this level and the one after that, pretty much our penultimate level, and then it's pretty much onto final boss territory. But that'll be for the next part, so in the meantime, we just have to deal with these freaksome samurai robots! And, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, we already have our plot points laid out in the beginning with the Zeus's tear powering Electro's amplifier. I don't really have much of anything to say, so I suppose... to kind of pad out the runtime, really, because, again, they are still making Marvel superhero games at this point. Particularly with the likes of Insomniac also making the Wolverine game alongside Spider-Man 2, that is to say... Spider-Man 2 for the Insomniac continuity, not Spider-Man 2 for any sort of movie, not Spider-Man 2 for this continuity, nor Spider-Man 2 for whatever else, really. And what do they... actually, one little pet peeve, why do they call it Marvel Spider-Man? Couldn't they just say Insomniacs, or couldn't they just give, like, Spider-Man's subtitle, like, you know, Enter Electro? I mean, you know, Marvel Spider-Man, you know, as opposed to fucking Image Comics Spider-Man, or fucking Dark Horse Spider-Man, or, you know... fucking whatever else, that's fucking redundant as shit, man. Yeah, but on a serious note though, I've kind of forgot what tangent I was going on. But then again, throw pieces to destroy Sparky thing, move on to the next stage. Oh, now I remember what my topic was, it's what sort of Marvel superheroes would work best for a video game. Or at least what ones would translate quite easily to a video game, because... one of the biggest problems that I think DC had for the longest time was how to make a game for, you know, specifically for the likes of, you know, Superman or Wonder Woman. Or, I mean, although a Wonder Woman game is coming by the developers of the Fear series, actually, which, no more Fee 4, which brings my piss to a boil, but whatever. But in terms of Marvel, I think well, again, I think Marvel does have a few more examples of that, or at least taking control of specific heroes, because, I mean, you had Punisher games, you had Wolverine games, you had X-Men games, obviously. So again, I suppose... comparatively to DC, where they tended to have the better run of animated shows, yeah, it seems Marvel had the better run of video games for the longest time. Because, I mean, again, outside of Batman, what sort of games did DC really have? I mean, not counting the memey, unsuccessful ones like your typical Superman 64 or Batman Doctor or whatever. It's just kind of really. Although one thing I am actually quite surprised about, I'm surprised they haven't made a Daredevil game yet. I mean, given the popularity of the TV series, the fact that, you know, you could easily sort of configure his gameplay style to be at least somewhat similar to a sort of Spider-Man-Batman hybrid. I don't know, to me it seems like a really interesting game that you could have quite easily adapted into a video game, and I'm surprised it never got a tie-in... Well, I think it might have gotten one for the Game Boy, but I'm surprised it never got a tie-in game for the 2003 Ben Affleck movie. Weird, but... them's the breaks, I guess.
What a relief. Hopefully I can find
And now we can move on to our second of the climbing the tower thing. Whatever, basically exploring the history of man. Exploring the history of spiders and hyphen man. By the way, that lava on the floor won't hurt you, it's just there for dramatic effect. The lightning on the other hand will, and it's also aided by the fact that Electro was also shooting his lightning down. Hopefully he ain't shooting blanks. Yeah. But speaking of shooting blanks, in one comic, did you know that Spider-Man killed Mary Jane with radioactive semen? I am not even fucking kidding about that. That was actually in a comic book. It was a storyline used for the drama and tragedy, and yeah, Spider-Cum, radioactive Spider-Cum kills Mary Jane. Probably Gwen Stacy. I think he was also dating Kitty Pryde at one point in the comics, but she's also a mutant, so Spider-Cum pending. Who else has Spider-Man dated? Joe Quesada's self-insert daughter after the One More Day storyline, I think, was also another one. Fuck it. Either way, the thing you need to know is that Spider-Man has a very, very miserable life, and if you become a Spider-Man, well, you're in for a lot of pain and, miserable lifestyles. But don't worry, at least you'll get to feel like Spider-Man! And next time on the Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro commentary, we face off against the man himself, so I'm Solidus-Skully, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.